Many of you have asked, what is the best podcast hosting provider out there? So Syed and I will cover and compare the top podcast hosting services out there that you can choose today for your podcast. Now, choosing a reliable podcast service is crucial to helping your podcast grow because they not only store, but they also help deliver all of your podcast files. Podcast files can get really large, and so you want something that is reliable. They also have backups. They also are able to distribute your podcast to other places so you can grow it. So in this video, Syed and I will cover the top podcast services and we'll compare them so you can pick the one that works best for you. So let's dive in.
Number one is Podbean. They're one of the best podcasting hosting service provider on the market because they offer unlimited podcast hosting plans with unlimited bandwidth, which is a huge thing. Their tool comes with beautiful design options, which gives you customizable themes. You can easily embed the Podbean podcast player directly inside your WordPress blog posts, WordPress pages. If you're embedding your podcast on your site, that's a huge plus. Aside from that, they also have some podcast promotion tools which automatically submit your episodes to all of the top podcast directories. This allows your audience to use their preferred tools to listen. So if I'm using the Apple podcast player, I can get data and listen to your podcast, and somebody else is using a different podcast player, they will be able to download the podcast there. And one last thing that they have is they have an advertising marketplace, which provides opportunities for you, the podcaster, to monetize your content. That's why they have a huge community of podcasters using their podcasting platform. And they have a free plan, which is also a big plus.
Number two is Buzzsprout, and they've been around since 2009, and they're one of the easiest to use podcasting hosting providers for beginners. They have a huge, strong community, and it includes some of the top influencers and podcasters out there. Now, if you're looking to just get started, then you'll find it incredibly easy to use. You just have to upload your media file, and they take care of everything else. They'll also automatically submit your episodes to all of the top podcasting directories, and that makes sure that your podcast will be available on all devices and apps out there. Their embeddable podcast player looks really good across all devices and screen sizes, and it shows things like the cover art, your social sharing buttons. You can do forward, backwards, and so much more with it. They also offer a free WordPress plugin that makes it super easy to embed on your WordPress website. Now, if you don't want to make a website just yet, that's okay. They can help you out. You can customize the design and they'll create a website for you. You can even create a custom domain with it. The downside is that even all the pay plans have storage and bandwidth issues or limits.
Number three is Blubrry or Blubrry. They're one of the most flexible podcast hosting services out there for both new and experienced podcasters. I've personally been recommending their service for a very long time because they have a WordPress podcasting plugin called PowerPress, which is super easy to use. It lets you manage your podcast directly from your WordPress website. Their plugin is running on over 60,000 websites. They've been around for a very long time. They also allow you to easily submit your podcast to Apple Podcast and Google Podcast, which means people can easily discover your podcast on Google Home, Assistant, all the Google products on Android. They have monetization options, podcast stats, social sharing features, and everything you would expect from a very established podcast hosting player. And one thing I really like about their platform is they have a lot of integrations. So for example, if you have a membership site using MemberPress, you can actually sell access to premium podcasts because MemberPress have a native integration with Blubrry, so you can sell, premium podcast access to your members.
That's awesome. Number four is Transistor, and it's a powerful yet easy to use podcast hosting provider for professionals as well as beginners. They offer unlimited podcast hosting plans. That means that you won't get charged for hours of upload as some of the other ones do. They also make it incredibly easy to upload your podcast. You just publish it and upload your media and publish it. They also offer podcast analytics so you can see exactly how each episode is performing. Their embed code allows you to add each episode to your WordPress posts and pages. And if you don't have a website, they'll set one up for you as well. Now, one thing to watch out for is that their plans do limit the number of downloads. So that means that if you have a larger audience coming, then you'll need to upgrade.
Number 5 is Smart Podcast Player. They recently rebranded into fusebox.fm. This is created by my friend Pat Flynn. And, it's not a podcast hosting platform. Rather, it is a podcast player that you embed on your WordPress website. It is far better than most podcast hosting services built-in players because it comes with so many design options, player controls, ability to subscribe, ability to get emails, capture for you to grow your email list, social sharing. It's mobile friendly. It is really, really good. And it has the ability to add transcripts and a really robust integration system. It's built by one of the most well-known podcasters out there, with Pat. So they've built a solution that they're using. A lot of other, podcasting, celebrities are using fusebox on their website. So no matter which one of the podcast hosting services you select from this video, you want to use fusebox alongside with it.
Number 6 is Libsyn. It's another reliable podcasting hosting service provider. They offer an easy-to-use platform that lets your brand be the center of attention. It also helps you promote your podcast across all different platform apps and devices. They are one of the oldest out there. They were started in 2004, which makes them one of the very first podcast hosting providers out there. And it was created by podcasters for podcasters, includes some of the most influential podcasters out there. Now they offer podcast hosting plans with different storage limits each month, but with a unlimited bandwidth. They also offer monetization, detailed analytics, WordPress integrations, and their plugin is Libsyn Publisher Hub.
Number 7 is Soundcloud. Now, when you think about Soundcloud, it's a music hosting service, but you can also use it to host your podcasts and online audio shows. The good thing about it is that you can embed any podcast episode from Soundcloud by simply placing the URL on your WordPress blog posts or pages because they have OEmbed. They have a free account that lets you upload up to 3 hours worth of episodes every month, but after that, you do have to start paying. The cool part about their paid plans is it comes with more storage, bandwidth, advanced stats, monetization, and distribution options. It's super easy to use. If you're just getting started and you don't want to pay for any podcast hosting, you can try out SoundCloud.
Okay, now that we've covered some of the top ones, you still might be wondering, well, which one is the best? We think for beginners, Podbean is the best overall podcast service provider that you can choose. Their plans come with unlimited storage and bandwidth, so you can get up and running quickly. And if you want a close second, then we recommend Buzzsprout simply because it's very beginner friendly to get up and running. And now once you set that up, you'll also want to have a website for your podcast. So make sure you watch this video next as I walk you through step by step on how to set up your WordPress website so you can get up and running quickly. And I'll see you over there.